Explosives are very useful, but also very dangerous. So today in this video, I'm going to go over 10 tips for using explosives in Warzone. Welcome back to COD Trendy, let's get into the video. Number 10, use C4 for blowing up helicopters. When players encounter helicopters that are flying low to the ground, they should attempt to throw C4 at it and blow it up swiftly, so they won't be able to run them over, and it will defeat everyone inside. A lot of players in Warzone aren't sure what the best explosive to use is when they are near a helicopter, and if a player doesn't have a rocket launcher, which they often don't, then it would be best to use C4 because it is a common explosive and it is a one-shot to helicopters. Number 9, use gas grenades to lure enemies out of camping spots. The gas grenade item is very powerful and they can be used at different intervals in the match to defeat enemies and force them out into their hiding spots. Specifically, players can use gas grenades when enemies are camping nearby, and they will be able to force them out of the spot, which will allow the player to shoot them as they are disoriented. This is a tip about the gas grenade that every player needs to utilize to its full potential. Number 8, use the decoy grenade to get out of tight spots. The decoy grenade is a weapon that will cause gunshot sounds to appear in a certain location. When this grenade is thrown, it will start by blasting these sound effects and will confuse enemies that may be nearby to the player. If a player is stuck inside a building or a sniper is nearby, they should use one of these grenades because it will distract the enemies and allow them to sneak out of their hiding spot without being noticed. Number 7, the Molotov should be thrown at enemies that are backed into a corner. When enemies are backed into a corner, there are many different strategies that players can use to defeat them easily. The best way to employ this strategy will be to throw a Molotov, because it will completely disorient the enemy and also deal massive amounts of flame damage that will almost likely get them to go down or fully defeat them. The Molotov cocktail is a powerful weapon and they can be used in lots of situations. However, when an enemy has nowhere else to run, this is the best time to use this weapon. Number 6, place down a claymore after finding it. Sometimes it can be beneficial to save a claymore for later in the match. However, a lot of the time players have another item that they would rather carry with them, and as such, players should place down the claymore so that if an enemy comes exploring the area, they may be damaged by it. A lot of players don't even touch a claymore if they already have an item in their inventory. However, they should utilize claymores to the best of their ability by immediately placing it down behind a corner or door where an enemy may accidentally trip it and explode.
They're coming, 3.
Number 5, carry a variety of explosives. This is a tip more oriented for squads or trios because it will allow teams to use more than one type of explosive when trying to defeat enemies. It is common for teams to carry similar grenades to each other within their inventories, and as such, this should be avoided so that players can defeat enemies with multiple types of weapons and grenades. Always keep a variety of explosive weapons in each teammate's inventory, instead of all taking the same type of grenade.
No! Get fucking stunned, bitch. Get fucking blown. Oh, I jumped off the roof.
Mark him.
Number 4, when carrying a rocket launcher, use it sooner rather than later. It can be tempting to save the rocket launcher for later because it has limited ammo, and it does a lot of damage. This will be useful when there's a final circle. However, it is most beneficial to use a rocket launcher right away because that will allow the player to quickly take a different secondary gun instead of lugging the rocket launcher around. The rocket launcher is a powerful weapon, however, it isn't best to carry it for the entirety of the game because of the lack of ammo it has.
Sorry guys, that's one way to do it.
Number 3, throw smoke grenades down in the final circle. When players are nearing the final circle, they can deploy smoke grenades to move around and distract enemies that would otherwise see the player and their teammates. This is an important tip to remember because a lot of players don't believe that smoke grenades are useful. However, in that final few circles, they can be immensely helpful for confusing and distracting enemies from the player's presence. Smoke grenades will also help players move around the battlefield that is populated by players.
Important thing to note about the underbarrel grenade launcher is that you're able to carry more than 2, unlike the thrown grenades.
Number 2, crash the helicopter into unsuspecting enemies. Helicopters in Warzone are usually thought of as a vessel to move players from one end of the map to the other. Helicopters can be also used to distract enemies, however, this should only be done if a player flying the helicopter is alone and doesn't have teammates. The operator of the helicopter can fly close to the ground and then crash it either into the enemies or around them as a distraction. If a helicopter hits an enemy on the ground, then it will be an automatic one-shot, which is great, especially considering how quickly a crashing helicopter moves through the air compared to how quickly a player can get away.
I'm sure about it.
I think you're just a little big fat fucking lie.
Number 1, combine a gas grenade and a decoy grenade. The gas grenade is great because it will deal damage to players swiftly and potentially in an unsuspecting manner. The decoy grenade is powerful because it will create a distraction and lure enemies into a spot that doesn't have any players for them to defeat. However, when these two weapons are combined, they can become a powerful combination because the decoy grenade can lure in players, and the gas grenade can be thrown to deal lots of damage before the player shoots the enemy, effectively defeating them. A lot of Warzone players don't realize how amazing of a match these two grenades are, and they should be used together more often for a powerful duo. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.